Well, good evening, all me jolly lads. I'm glad to find you well. If you gather all around me now, the story I will tell. For I've got the situation, and begorra and begob, I can whisper I've a weekly wage of 19 bob. Till 12 months come October since I left me native home, after helping them Killarney boys to bring the harvest down. But now I wear a gansey around me waist a belt. I'm the gaffer in the squad that makes the hot ash felt. We laid it in the hollows and we laid it in the flats, and if it doesn't last forever, sure I swear I'll eat me hat. Well, I've wandered up and down the world, but sure I've never felt any surface that was equal to the hot ash felt. The other night a copper comes and he says to me, Maguire, would you kindly let me light me pipe down at your boiler flyer? Well, he planks himself straight down in front with hobnails up till late. He says, I'm a decent man, you better go and mind your bait. He ups and yells, I'm down on you, I'm up to all your pranks. Don't I know you for a traitor from the Tipperary ranks? Boys, I hit straight from the shoulder, and I gave him such a belt that I knocked him into the boiler full of hat ash felt. We laid it in the hollows and we laid it in the flats, and if it doesn't last forever, sure I swear I laid me hat. Well, I've wandered up and down the world, but sure I've never felt any surface that was equal to the hot ash felt. They quickly pulled him out again and threw him in the tub, and with soap and warm water we began to rub and scrub. But devil the thing had hardened, it turned him hard as stone, and with every other rub sure you could hear the copper groan. I'm thinking, says O'Reilly, that he's looking like old Nick, and burn me if I'm not inclined to claim him with me pick. And now says I, it would be easier to burn him till he melts, and to stir him nice and easy in the hot ash felt. We laid it in the hollows and we laid it in the flats, and if it doesn't last forever, sure I swear I'll eat me hat. Well, I've wandered up and down the world, but sure I've never felt any surface that was equal to the hot ash felt. Talk about your shade. Hang on. Wait, hang on. Lost my breath. Okay, 1, 2, 3. You may talk about your sailor lads, ballad singers and the rest, your VTubers and your tailors, but we please the ladies best. The only ones who know their way to flinty hearts to melt are the lads around the boiler making hot ash felt. With rubbing and with scrubbing, sure I got me death of cold. For scientific purposes, me body it was sold in the Kelvin Grove Museum, me boys. I'm hanging in me pelt as a monument to the Irish making hot ash felt. Woo! Then I think it. No, actually, I think it repeats the chorus. But hello, you guys couldn't hear. I was listening to the music, but I don't want to get. I don't want to get banned. I don't want to get banned. Especially, it's kind of weird then when you guys are just listening to me singing with no music. It must sound like so off. You know what it was? I forgot the lyrics. I forgot the lyrics of the song, and I took a breath at the wrong time. And it was like, oh wait, no. When does Luke Kelly come into this? But I was listening to the Dubliners, to Luke Kelly. Hello, everyone, though. Hello. I was listening to music, like my usual thing, kind of warming up my voice a little. I might try and practice. With my singing teacher, a couple of Irish tunes, like kind of get that sound proper. Because I don't know. You know what tune I love? I love Black Velvet Band. Wild Rover is really good as well. Wild Rover is really good. But hello, Niroma, I saw you were going to sleep. I'm sorry if I woke you up. I hope you have. You should know, if I woke you up, you should know by now that I sing that I'm very loud. Not that I necessarily sing, but I am a loud person. But hello, Gusto. Hello, Sari, always keeping us safe. Hello, Noura. Hello, Tasty. Hello, Laughs a Lot. Have a good stream, an awesome day, everyone. I think he went to bed, and I hope so. I don't want to disturb his sleep. Hello, Mick Morgan the Merc, who recently got a new kind of updated model. Looked very neat, although when I joined he was having some scuff issues, which always seems to happen during like big events. Things always go wrong at the worst times. Karaoke ASMR today then? No. Maybe someday. let out your inner bard. Maybe I'll get a little bit better. I need to work on that sound, because I've been doing a lot of, like, old 50s 60s songs, Jim Croce and stuff, banned for being too Irish, banned for being, like, playing one of the most popular Irish band, probably the most popular Irish trad band, other than the Clancy's. The Clancy brothers were huge in America. They really got big, but I think in Ireland the Dubliners would probably be. Well, you know what? No, the Clancy's are also very well respected. It's not like they're not respected at all. The Clancy's have some really. I love the Clancy's and what's his name? Something McDonough, I think it is. The Clancy brothers and not McDonough. Tommy Makem. Their Wild Colonial Boy is really good, and The Parting Glass as well. I'd love to practice like them. Do Star of the County Down. Let me see if I can. Okay, you're gonna have to put up with me. Just no music. If you want that, you're gonna have to put up with no music. Hang on, wait. Let me. Wait, do I still have this muted? No. Hello, Cringe Sona. Tommy Makem is buried in your hometown. That's really cool. I did not know that. And thank you for the first time chat. That's a wonderful first time chat. Wait, why would I say I didn't, like, I know where you live? What? That doesn't make any sense. I didn't know that. Ruadh, what are you talking about? What are you talking about, Ruadh? Well, obviously what I meant there was I don't know where you live, Cringe Sona. I apologize. But what I meant to say was that's really cool, I think. I think that's what I meant to say, was that's really cool. Oh. Thank you for the sub, Mike. Thank you for the sub. Acapella. You saw Irish Myths mentioned and you have to come. Hell yeah, we're going to be reading later on anyway, because usually it takes a while. Thank you for the head pat, Gusto. Usually it takes about, 40 minutes for me to get into a reading thing. Okay, what's the pitching again for I think it's like, let me just listen to it real quick. Near Branbridge Town in the County Down. Okay, I think, yeah. Okay, I'm going to try it a cappella, no music. Near Branbridge Town in the County Down, one morning in last July. Down a Boreen Green came a sweet Colleen, and she smiled as she passed me by. She looked so sweet from her 2 bare feet to the sheen of her nut brown hair. Such a coaxing elf, sure I shook myself for to see I was really there. From Bantry Bay down to Derry Quay, from Galway to Dublin town, no maid I seen like the fair Colleen that I met in the County Down. As she onward sped, sure I scratched me head, and I looked with a feeling rare. And I says I, to a passer-by, who's a maid with the nut brown hair. He smiled at me, and these are different lyrics to what I'm used to. These are not the lyrics that I know. Hang on. Let me see if I can find my lyrics. Scratched me head and I looked with a feeling rare. And I says I, to a passer-by, who's a maid with the nut brown hair. Well, he looked at me and he said to me, that's the gem of Ireland's crown. Young Rosie McCann from the banks of the Bann, she's the star of the County Down. From Bantry Bay down to Derry's Quay, from Galway to Dublin town, no maid I've seen like the fair Colleen that I met in the County Down. She had soft brown eyes with a look so shy and a smile like the rose in June. And she sang so sweet, what a lovely treat, as she lilted an Irish tune. At the Lammas dance I was in a trance as she whirled with the lads in the town. And it broke me heart just to be apart from the star of the County Down. From Bantry Bay up to Derry's Quay, from Galway to Dublin town, no maid I've seen like the fair Colleen that I met in the County Down. I feel like I don't have the right tone, if that makes sense. Excuse me. Last verse. At the harvest fair I'll be Wait. At the harvest fair she'll be surely there, so I'll dress in me Sunday clothes, with me shoes shone bright and me hat cocked right, for a smile from the nut brown rose. No pipe I'll smoke, no horse I'll yoke, till me plough is a rust-coloured brown, and a smiling bride by me own fireside since the start of the county down. From Bantry Bay up to Derry's Quay, from Galway to Dublin town, no maid I've seen like the fair Colleen that I met in the county down. I should have done a more voice warm-ups. I did not expect to be singing. I just kind of did it on a whim. You're surprised you've never chatted. You've been following since January. I do think I remember you following, but you know what? You know what? That's okay. We love the lurkers. The lurkers are very good. The lurkers are important. They're very sorry. They're very, very important. The Dropkick Murphys for life. They have a few tunes I like. I like more the Dubliners and the Clancys. The High Kings are decent. Wait, no, am I thinking of the High Kings or High Kings? Yeah, I think the High Kings kind of modernize some of the music in a way that sometimes I'm not the biggest fan of, but they're pretty good. He smiled at me. Ruadh was manifesting Kensuke. Fun fact, Bon Jovi's first recording was for the Star Wars Christian album song called R2D2, We Wish You a Merry Christmas. What? Well worth the sub, that one. Well, thank you. Thank you, Mike. I apologize. My voice was... Man, I really hope my voice doesn't go now. Right at the start of the stream. Usually I should warm up. Hang on. Let me get a drink of water. I think I just wasn't sure. Do some warm downs. Do some hums. Oh, no. Did you guys hear the overtones in that? Was that just me, or was I getting some overtones? The Mongols are attacking Onyo. The Celtic... Well, to be fair, you guys know we're from the steppes, right? We're Scythians. We're also Egyptians. We're also one of the lost tribes of Judea. There's a lot going on in our stuff. I really would love to be able to throat sing, though. It sounds so cool. Yeah, there's like parts of Irish history where it's like a Scythian... Is it? I think it's like a Scythian king, or it might be a princess, and then like a... I need to reread the stuff, but there's a lot of wild things out there. I can get the overtone, but not the actual Cargara or Kume or Sagut, which is Sagut is like the really loud one. And hello, by the way, did I say thank you, Isabel, for the first time chat? I don't know if I did or not, but thank you for the cheer. That's very sweet of you. Thank you. I should remember to turn off the things. Man, I hope I didn't just like turn away loads of people who were like, I wanted like comfy reading, not Ruadh badly singing with his dry voice. I had a nice chocolate mousse earlier. Protein chocolate mousse. It was very tasty. But how is everyone doing? How are you all doing today? I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful kind of end of the week. We're getting there. We're almost there. You guys are doing well. You're doing great. Gusto in particularly is close. He's in Friday. So him and Dee will be into the weekend sooner than all of us. We love your moist voice. That's quite the sentence. That's quite the sentence I've had to read. But I think I should do like a stream. I think I should do a stream where I just do like Irish music. think that would be a lot of fun. I I should learn on Pucker Bulla. I can do O'Shea the Rahavali. O'Shea the Vahawalia. Can't even pronounce it all of a sudden. You guys know where it's like She the Vahavan Balin va to bear grak to vein neven the do he rise merlo. Isu deal to lesh no gau live. O Rosheda Vahawalia, O Rosheda Vahawalia, O Rosheda Vahawalia. Ahane sher hoton saurik. Avui larina havart govecum monamien bio in a yiach shachten gronje vel agus mil goshkia. Eg fogert faun galiv. O Rosheda Vahawalia, O Rosheda Vahawalia, O Rosheda Vahawalia. Ahane sher hoton saurik. Wait, no, I did a third verse second by accident. I just realised I did a wee nuri when it should be Tog ronya veleg hoktar salya munamien bio in a. No wait, am I getting mixed up between? Have I may have forgotten. I haven't done this in a while. Let me just check with the. Togronya veleg choktar salya oligar male margarda galius fenis ni gaulna spani. Is kurhi gruger galiv. O Rosheda Vahawalia, O Rosheda Vahawalia, O Rosheda Vahawalia. Ahane sher hoton sauri. I really like that song. It's one I quite like. I think it's very, very nice. I really like the second verse actually, which is it's a shame I messed it up. There's some interesting stuff in there actually. One of the lines where it's like Tagronja Vale in a chuck Ersalia. God, it's really hard to like remember a verse or like parts of a verse in the middle of the song. Do you guys find that? Like, I'm not someone who could be told like, oh, what's the 10th or the 14th letter of the alphabet or something. I have to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, Q, or T, X, Y, Q. That's the alphabet, right? Right. But the part where it's like Gael Iad Fain is the Frank. Well, sorry, there's a version where it goes Gael Iad Fain ni Frank na Spánig. There's a version like that where it's you know, Grania, the queen, is arriving to Ireland with a host of warriors, and they're Irish, not French or Spanish. But in another version, it's Gaul, which is contrasted, kind of interesting. Like it sounds almost similar to Gael, but funnily enough, Gaul or Gaul, I suppose. But I think it almost kind of becomes Gaul later on. But this warrior hungers for spicy ramen. Nice, I could do for some spicy ramen. But in this case, Gaul is standing for foreigners. It's literally it's a distinct, almost like a Schmithian friend-enemy distinction going on there, where the Irish, even back then, one of the things that I think is really interesting about the Irish is that when you look at things like their law tracks and stuff, they had a very distinct conception of themselves. Very distinct conception of themselves. To the point that I would say that alongside the Greeks and Romans, they may be one of the earliest kind of nationalities within Europe to really perceive themselves in that way. But anyway, which actually is going to be what we're getting into today. Not really that, but we're getting into Lady Augusta Gregory's Irish Myths and Legends, Gods and Fighting Men. Last time we did this, we had a long introduction by W.B. Yeats. And we got a little bit into the first story, kind of the arrival of the Tuatha Dé, supposedly from their 4 cities of fucking Phineas and Ferb. there was a lot of names, and then all the wizards of those cities were all were also like the same sound. What was it again? It was Phalius, Gorius, Phineas, Murius were the cities. Senius, Inmurius, Arius, Infinius, Urius, and Gorius, and Murius, and Phalius. What does that remind me of? That reminds me... Isn't there like a poem that's like that? No, you know what it's making me think of? You know what it's making me think of? It's making me think of... And I think there's a particular part, but it's... Do you guys know Tom Lehrer? Tom Lehrer? I don't know how to pronounce his name. But he did the Elements song. Not the new Elements song where they just name it like starting from the first one and going on. But he actually does it like a song. He goes like, there's antimony, arsenic, aluminum, selenium, and hydrogen and oxygen and nitrogen and rhenium, and nickel, neodymium, neptunium, germanium, and iron, americium, ruthenium, uranium, europium, zirconium, lutetium, vanadium, and lanthanum, and osmium, and acetine, and radium, and gold, protactinium, and indium, and gallium, and iodine, and thorium, and thulium, and thallium. I think that's what I have in mind when I'm hearing Furious and Sanius and Murius. I'm just imagining like you just put that into you can slot that into the story. But they took their four ancient artifacts as well and met the Bagmen, or the Firbolgs. The Tuatha Dé, that is. They've landed in Ireland, and the Firbolgs sent their Wait, did I lose the page? Oh no, I didn't. Sent their great champion Shreng to check out these foreigners, these strange individuals who have landed on their lands. And the Tuatha Dé in kind send out Bress. And the two end up kind of chilling and admiring each other's weapons and being like, you're cool, you're a pretty cool guy. And they were great friends. It literally says that. It literally says, from that day on, no matter what happened, they were great friends. And considering how friendship seems to be defined whenever I get art done, I'm interesting. Yeah, Billy approve might be the right emote there, Mike. But the Firbolg, the Tuatha Dé, at least 18 pages, yeah. The Tuatha Dé declared to the Firbolg that they would give up half of Ireland and they would live in peace. But the Firbolg decided no. They said no. For if they were to accept this, they would be driven. They would eventually be overtaken by the Tuatha Dé, and they would take all of Ireland for themselves. And so they did battle, and ultimately the Tuatha Dé came on top. And the Firbolgs were moved to Connacht, and we see many of them possibly be the relations of people such as Con of the 100 Battles and many other famous individuals. But I think this might be a little bit early. A little bit of an early... what I mean by that is a little bit of an early reading stream, in the sense of we get into the book quickly, because it's quite a big book, but I kind of really want to read this. I've been looking forward to reading this for a little while. So I may just get into it. Chapter 2. The Reign of Bress. But if Nuada won the battle, he lost his own arm in it. That was struck off by Shreng, and by that loss there came troubles and vexation on his people. For it was a law with the Tuatha Dé then on, that no man that was not perfect in shape should be king. And after Nuada had lost the battle, he was put on the kingship. He was put out of the kingship on that account. And the king they chose in his place was Bress, That was the most beautiful of all their young men, so that if a person wanted to praise any beautiful thing, whether it was a plane or a dun or ale or flame or a woman or a man or a horse, it is what he would say. It is as beautiful as Bress. And he was the son of a woman of the Tuatha, but who was his father was, no one knew but herself. But in spite of Bress being so beautiful, his reign brought no great luck to his people, for the Fomor, whose dwelling place was beyond the sea. Oh, sorry, this is not the Fearbolgs. I said the. Oh no, Fomor. Then there's the Fearbolg. I'm getting mixed up because now they're saying for the Fomor whose dwelling place was beyond the sea, or as some say below the sea westward, began putting tribute on them, the way they would get them under their own rule. It was a long time before the Fomor came first to Ireland. Dreadful they were to look at, and maimed, having but 1 foot or 1 hand, and they under the leadership of a giant and his mother. There never came to Ireland an army more horrible or more dreadful than that army of the Fomor. Yeah, I think it was the Fearbolg that they were talking of first. And they were friendly with the Fearbolgs and content to leave Ireland to them, but there was jealousy between them and the men of Dea. And it was a hard tax they put on them. 1/3 part of their corn they asked, and 1/3 part of their milk, and 1/3 part of their children, so that there was not smoke rising from a roof in Ireland, but was under tribute to them, and Bress made no stand against them, but let them get their way. And as to Bress himself, he put a tax on every house in Ireland, of the milk of homeless dun cows, or of the milk of cows of some other single colour, enough for 100 men. And one time, to deceive him, Necton singed all the cows of Ireland in a fire of fern, and then he smeared them with the ashes of flaxseed, the way they were all dark brown. He did that by the advice of the druid Fingol, son of Findamus. And another time they made 300 cows of wood with dark brown pails in place of others, and the pails were filled with black bog stuff. Then Bress came to look at the cows and to see them milked before him, and Cian, father of Lugh, was there, and when they were milked it was the bog stuff that was squeezed out, and Bress took a drink of it thinking it to be milk, and he was not the better of it for a long time. And there was another thing against Bress. He was no way open-handed, and the chief men of the Tuatha grumbled against him, for their knives were never greased in his house, and however often they might visit him, there was no smell of ale on their breath, and there was no sort of pleasure or merriment in his house, and no call for their poets or singers or harpers or pipers or horn-blowers or jugglers or fools. And as to the trials of strength they were used to see between their champions, the only use their strength was put to now was to be doing work for the king. Starting with the Tuatha. Yes, this book is starting with the... So this book, Lady Augusta Gregory's Irish Myths and Legends, God and Fighting Men, has 2 parts to it. It starts with 2 parts, the gods and then the Fianna. And it goes with the coming of the Tuatha, the Lugh of the Long Hand, the coming of the Gale, the living ones. And then there's an extra book just for the fate of the children of Lear. And then we have the Fianna, part 2, where it goes Finn, son of Cool, Finn's helpers, the battle of... That's Fionn, by the way. This is just kind of another spelling. The battle of the White Strand, huntings and enchantments, Oisin's children, Diarmuid, so many fun things. Ogma himself, the shining poet, was under orders to bring firing to the place every day for the whole army from the islands of Mod. And so he was so weak for want of food that the sea would sweep away 2/3 of his bundle every day. And as to the Dogda, he was put to build rats, for he was a good builder, and he made a trench around Bress. And he was used so often to be tired at the work, and one time he nearly gave in altogether for want of food, and this is the way that happened. You are correct. We really only just our last stream. We literally just finished the topic of the landing, of them coming from the four cities and the four wise men, the four wizards. Can't wait for Diarmid and Grania. The issue is like Morgan. A lot of this is often spelt in weird ways, like old Irish. This book was written back in the 1900s, I think 1904. So there's some spellings here that really throw me for a loop at times. He used to meet in a house an idle blind man, Crindonbell his name was, that had a sharp tongue, and that covered the dog's share of food, for he thought his own to be small beside it. So he said to him, "For the sake of your good name, let the 3 best bits of your share be given to me." And the dog gave in to that every night. He's here. But he was the worst of it, for what the blind man called a bit would be the size of a good pig, and with his 3 bits he would take a full third of the whole. Thank you, Romer, for the head pats. Very kind of you. But one day, as a dogda was in the trench, he saw his son, Angus Og, coming to him. "That is a good meeting," said Angus. "But what is on you, for you have no good appearance today." "There is a reason for that," said the dogda. "For every evening, Crindamel, the blind man, makes a demand for the 3 best bits of my share of food." Will I do voices, guys? Maybe I'll do some voices. "Share of my food, and takes them from me." "I will give you an advice," said Angus. He put his hand in his bag and then took out 3 pieces of gold and gave them to him. What chapter are we on? We are on chapter 2. Well, we're on part 1. Sorry, actually no, wait. It's kind of awkward because it's broken down into books, or like parts. It goes parts, then books, then chapters of each book, but it's broken down by like part 1, the gods, and then we're on book 1, the coming of the Tuatha, and then chapter 2, the reign of Bress. So it's quite broken up. "Put these pieces of gold into the 3 bits you will give this evening to Crindonbell," he said, "and they will be the best bits in the dish, and the gold will turn within him the way he will die." So in the evening the dog did that, and no sooner had Crindonbell swallowed down the gold that he died. Some of the people said then to the king, "The dog has killed Crindonbell, given him some deadly herb." The king believed that, and there was anger on him against Dogda, and he gave orders he should be put to death. But the Dogda said, "You are not giving the right judgment of a prince," and he told all that had happened, and how Crindonbell used to say, "Give me the 3 best bits before you, for my own share is not good tonight." And on this night, he said, "The 3 pieces of gold were the best things before me, and I gave them to him, and he died." The king gave orders then to have the body cut open, and they found the gold inside it, and they knew it was the truth the Dogda had told. And Angus came to him again the next day, and he said, "Your work will soon be done." No, hang on, that's not the voice I gave him. "Your work will soon be done, and when you are given your wages, take nothing they may offer you till the cattle of Ireland are brought before you, and choose out a heifer then, black and black-maned, that I will tell you the signs of." So when the Dogda had brought his work to an end, and they asked him what reward he wanted, he did as Angus had bidden him, and that seemed folly to Bress. He thought the Dogda would asked more than a heifer of him. There came a day at last when a poet came to look for hospitality at the king's house. Capra, son of Etain, poet of the Tuatha. I'm used to calling them the Tuatha because there's actually a weird little thing with the name Tuatha Danann, the idea of Dana or Dea, and that's to do with from a book I read called Ireland's Immortals, he outlines that the name Tuatha De Danann was actually something that seems to come about. Danu, yes, exactly. Is something that seems to actually come about in later Christian writings. Because under Christianity, within the Bible, within an Irish perspective, the Tuatha De, the sons of God, or the children of God, I suppose you could call it, are who else but the Israelites, the Jews from the Old Testament, the tribes of Judea. Now this becomes a little bit awkward then when it applies when they're referring to these children of the gods or the gods as the Tuatha De. At least from the argument that this book, Ireland's Immortals, was a really good book, and I might read next. Really, really interesting information. All about the kind of the slow development and different perspectives on the Tuatha De over time that develops from early Christians to obviously looking at the oldest information we have on it to try and get a realistic look at it, and then the kind of slowly changing as different factions arise within Christianity. And then, of course, the English arrive, and you have the Gaelic Revolution, or the Gaelic kind of not rebellion. I'm not saying, but the kind of reignition of interest in the Tuatha De in the myths of Ireland. They take on another meaning. So it's a really, really good book, and I would highly recommend anyone check it out. But yeah, that's why I'm kind of so used to calling them the Tuatha De, because I think they're just meant to be referred to as the tribe of God or so. There's another hypothesis that translation of Danann means skilled, but you never found that translation. I think I've heard that one before as well. I think it mentioned that in passing. And obviously you see that where all of the various kind of gods are they're gods of various skills and things. And many of them are skilled at various, professions and highly sought after things. Hang on, there we go. So, to me, Tuatha De is probably how I would typically refer to them as. If we look at the gods of the tribe, the Dagda is the first druid, Lu is the many-skilled, Ogma is the creator of Om, and the Morrigan is the great sorceress. I'm gonna have to reread that book, at least the introduction, because I remember it talked a lot about that kind of. I want to find that section where it talks about the Tuatha De. Excuse me, I must go mute for a moment. Sorry, I am now back. When I had to step away from a moment, but I'm like talking or something or like on the phone, my eyes are glued on OBS's sound. Like if that turns green for any strange reason, I'm gonna be very upset. They all have a close place in your practice. It's painful how much of the surviving ancient writings are from a biased perspective, but recognizing that bias helps get a bit closer. I understand. I understand. One of the things that I find quite interesting is some of the inversions that take place. The kind of typical things that one would see. How do I explain it? Like the lady of sovereignty or the woman of sovereignty who comes to bestow sovereignty upon a. Thank you, Kotsid, for the follow. Welcome in, welcome in. I do not speak Russian. I'm sorry. Who come to bestow sovereignty upon a king, recognizing him as a sovereign over the lands by sleeping with him often. This happens to an individual. I can't remember the exact story. We'll probably get to it in the book, maybe. Maeve. That's like it can be Maeve. Sometimes it's just a local goddess, I believe. But there's this kind of common occurrence. But what happens in one of the stories, it might even be this. I do apologize, Morgan. You probably have a much stronger understanding because obviously this is something that you have very strong feelings on, and you probably read a lot more on this than I do, which is funny because my whole thing is being I did read these quite a bit when I was younger, but much of that, if you don't constantly think about it, if you don't constantly check up on stuff, you can very easily forget it. But they invert this, and they have this lady of sovereignty come and proclaim the coming of Christ to Ireland in a very interesting way. Oh, I had some dropped frames. Lame. That's very lame. The cheese slayed Maeve. I don't know. Maybe. Where is your Pelmeni? I don't know what that is. Pelmeni? Was that the thing we were looking at last time? That kind of like doughy pocket looking thing. It looked nice. Back to our reading. Where were we? We were... here we are. Corpora, son of Etain, poet of the Tuatha, and it is how he was treated. He was put in a little dark narrow house where there was no fire, no furniture or bed, and for a feast 3 small cakes, and they dry, were brought to him on a little dish. When he rose up on the morrow, he was no way thankful, and he was going across the green. It was said, it is what he said. Without food ready on a dish, without milk ready enough for a calf to grow on, without a shelter, without light in the darkness of light, without enough to pay a storyteller, may that be the prosperity of Bress. And from that day there was no good luck with Bress, but it is going down. But it is going down he was forever after, and that was the first satire ever made in Ireland. Now, as to Nuada, after his arm being struck off, he was in his sickness for a while, and then being kicked. Wait, hang on, I just want to double check that that's how I am, because there's actually a pronunciation guide at the back. Ooh, it's even in alphabetical order. That's so cool. They don't have all of the names. Kecht. It might be something like Kecht, where you have to bring the back of the throat into it. There's place names, so they have various names. Boat goes binted. I don't know what that means. They don't have her name. I'm so sad. Where's ARMR? Oh, we're not doing like traditional ASMR, Kotsid. We are doing reading ASMR. So just kind of soft reading. Now, as to Nuada, after his arm being struck off, he was in his sickness for a while, and then Dian Cecht, the healer, made an arm of silver for him, with movement in every finger of it, and put it on him, and from then on he was called Nuada Argut Lov, of the silver hand for ever after. Now Mich, son of Dian Cecht, was a better hand at healing than his father, and had done many things. He met a young man, having but one eye, at Tara one time, and the young man said, "If you are a good physician, you will put an eye in the place of the eye I lost." "I could put the eye of that cat in your lap in its place," said Mich. "I would like that well," said the young man. So Mich put the cat's eye in his head, but he would as soon have been without it after, for when he wanted to sleep and take his rest, it is then the eye would start at the squeaking of the mice, or the flight of the birds, or the movement of the rushes. And when he was wanting to watch an army or a gathering, it is then it was sure to be in deep sleep. He got a bionic arm. He's a bionicle. And Mich was not satisfied with what his father had done to the king, and he took Nuada's own hand that had been struck off and brought it to him, and set it in its place. And he said, "Joint to joint, and sinew to sinew." 3 days and 3 nights he was with the king. The first day he put the hand against his side, and the second day against his breast, till it was covered with skin. And the third day he put bulrushes that were blackened in the fire on it. And at the end of at that time the king was healed. But Dian Cecht was vexed when he saw his son doing a better cure than himself, and he threw his sword at his head, that it cut the flesh. But the lad healed the wounds by the means of his skill. And then, dude, come on. And then Dian Cecht threw it a second time, that it reached the bone, but the lad was able to cure the wound. Then he struck him the third time, and the fourth, till he cut out the brain. For he knew no physician could cure himself after that blow. And Mich died, and he buried him. And herbs grew up from his grave, to the number of his joints and sinews, 365. And Eärmod, his sister, came and spread out her cloak and laid out the herbs in it, according to their virtue. But Dian Cecht saw her doing that, and he came and mixed up the herbs, so that no one knows all their right powers to this day. Dude, he's not a very nice man, is he? Come on, the same frustration when watching a shonen anime. Dude, not only does he kill his own son after he showed him up twice, but he's also like, you know what, fuck these herbs too, and he mixes them all up. Then, when the Tuatha saw Nuada was well as he was before, they gathered together to Tara, where Bress was, and they bade him give up the kingship, for he had held it long enough. So he had to give it up, though he was not very willing, and Nuada was put back in the kingship again. There was great vexation on Bress then, and he searched his mind to know how he could be avenged on those that had put him out, and how he could gather an army against him. And he went to his mother, Eri, daughter of Delbert, and bade her tell him what his race was. He's not, but he's still the god of surgeons and physicians. It's a bit of reluctant reverence. I know that well, she said, and she told him then that his father was a king of the Fomor, Elathon, son of Dalbech. And then he came to her one time over a level sea in some great vessel that seemed to be of silver, but she could not see its shape. And he himself having the appearance of a young man with yellow hair, and his clothes sewed with gold, and 5 rings of gold around his neck. And she that had refused the love of all the young men of her own people, gave him her love, and she cried when he left her. And he gave her a ring from his hand, and bade her give it only to the man whose finger it would fit. And he went away then the same way as he had come. And she brought out the ring to Bress, and she put it around his middle finger, and it fitted him well. And they went then together to the hill where she was the time she saw the silver vessel coming and down to the strand, and she and Bress and his people set out for the country of the Fomor. And when they came to that country, they found a great plain. Dude, they went back to the steppes. They're horse-riding people now again. They found a great plain with many gatherings of people on it, and they went to the gathering that looked the best, and the people asked where did they come from, and they said they were come from Ireland. You may notice some kind of odd phrasing. I am reading this as straight as possible. It's likely kind of just trying to translate old Irish into English, and also old spelling, 1900s. Have you hounds with you? They asked them then, for it was the custom at that time when strangers came to gatherings to give them some friendly challenge. We have hounds, said Bress. So the hounds were matched against one another, and the hounds of the Tuatha were better than the hounds of the Fomor. Have you horses for a race? They asked them. We have, said Bress, and the horses of the Tuatha beat the horses of the Fomor. Then they asked, was any among them a good hand with a sword? And they said Bress was the best. But when he put his hand to the sword, Elethan, his father, that was among them, knew the ring, and he asked, who was this young man? Then his mother answered him, and told the whole story, and that Bress was his own son. Then they asked, there was sorrow in his father then, and he said, what was it that drove you out of the country you were king over? And Bress said, nothing drove me out, but my own injustice and my own hardness. I took away their treasures from their people, and their jewels, and their food itself, and there was never taxes put on them before I was their king. That is bad, said his father. It is of their prosperity you had a right to think more of than your own kingship, and their goodwill would be better than their curses, he said. And what is it you are come to look for here? I am come to look for fighting men, said Bress, that I may take Ireland by force. You have no right to get it by injustice when you could not keep it by justice, said his father. What advice have you for me then? Said Bress. And Elethan bade him go to the chief king of the Fomor, Balor of the Evil Eye, to see what advice and what help would he give him. Dun, dun, dun. Definitely a little tricky at times to find the right rhythm of these stories, just because of the odd language at times. But I think I'm getting into it. But that ends the story of Bress's reign, his kingship. Very much not a good one. And we see of course the virtues of proper kingship, of putting one's own people before themselves. And that was a great line by his father. You have no right to get it by injustice when you could not keep it by justice. What a great line. But let us continue now. Book 2, Lugh of the Long Hand. Excuse me. Chapter 1, The Coming of Lugh. Now as the Nuada of the Silver Hand, he was holding a great feast at Tara one time, after he was back in the kingship, and there were 2 doorkeepers at Tara, Gamal, son of Figel, and Camel, son of Riagal. And a young man came to the door where one of them was, and bade him bring him to the king. Who are you yourself? Said the doorkeeper. I am Lugh, son of Cian of the Tuatha the Non, and Etlin, daughter of Balor, king of the Fomor, he said, and I am the foster son of Tailta, daughter of the king of the Great Plain, and Eachad the Rough, son of Duch. What are you skilled in? Said the doorkeeper, for no one without an art comes into Tara. Question me, said Lugh. I am a carpenter. We do not want you, We have a carpenter ourselves, Luctar, son of Luakad. Then I am a smith. We have a smith ourselves, Cullum Culamach, of the 3 new ways. Then I am a champion. That is no use to us. We have a champion before, Ogma, brother to the king. Question me again. I am a harper, he said. That is no use to us. We have a harper ourselves, Evian, son of Birmos, that the men of the 3 gods brought from the hills. Then I am a poet, he said, and a teller of tales. That is no use to us. We have a teller of tales ourselves, Erk, son of Ethamon. And I am a magician. That is no use to us. We have plenty of magicians and people of power. I am a physician, he said. That is no use. We have Dienkecht for our physician. Let me be a cupbearer then, he said. We do not want you. We have 9 cupbearers ourselves. I am a good worker in brass. We have a worker in brass ourselves. That is Kryn the Kurd. I'm unsure on that one. Hello, Mama. Hello, Mama. How are you? How you doing? It's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. It's Friday for you. It's almost the end of the week. You just gotta go. And don't worry, it's gonna go super fast because I always wonder how this works. You know, you guys live through the whole day, but for me, I go to sleep and then I wake up and then it's like it's over for you. You know, the day is over for you guys. You don't have work today? Ah, sweet. Just class. Ugh. But usually I remember in one of my years I always had Friday. Wait, no, was it Friday? Yeah, I always had the Friday off. It meant the other 4 days were a little bit more packed, but I'd take 4 kind of busy days with a day off at the end of Friday every week. Oh, it was so nice. Every week was a long weekend. But Mama, we're doing some reading today. We're reading all about Irish myths and legends by a Lady Augusta Gregory. You were meant to do an assignment last night. It's due today. Mama, were you procrastinating? I just realized I forgot to use my toggle that my mama worked so hard on me. Can I just point out? I never point out. No, I've definitely pointed this out before, but the 3D effect on this book, like just the obviously part of this is the rigor, but also the mama going crazy. Just I don't know, just that book is so well done. It's so well done. But as soon as you got home, you just died in bed. No, wait, no, hang on. Brua, get away from there. Bad Brua. But yeah, it's really well done. Sorry. So every now and again, Mama, it still happens. I open up VTube Studio. And I just look at me and I go, damn. It's like I'm Johnny Bravo and I'm looking in a mirror and I'm like, oh yeah. You wouldn't mind getting Morgan in this art style? Didn't she do a wonderful job? But McMorgan, you just got a new model. McMorgan. Your wallet cries out in pain. It cries as you speak of this. You at Bucky every morning. You're always drawing. You're preparing for... Oh, yes! You are preparing for a Druid alternative. Mama, you may have a new client. Maybe. I won't put any pressure. You got good experience with me. Drawing, like, you know, Irishy stuff. But you're probably... I don't know how busy you are with, like, college and your other children, if you are making any. You have quite a few children at this point, don't you? Inca personally solving the birth rate crisis by creating all the VTubers. You have like 5 or 6 at this point, I'm pretty sure. And what I like about it is I feel like you have 10? I thought you had like 6 and 7 at most. It's been a while since you've worked on one though. Whoa, I have a lot of brothers and sisters. I only know a few of them. But what I like about yours is so many of them are so different. Like very different styles, very different looks. It's really cool. Sometimes with artists is I feel like they can be very, very good. When are y'all siblings gonna do a massive collab? I said y'all. Ew. No, I kinda like the word y'all in hearing it spoken. I feel like anytime I say y'all, I have to do it as like a very slight southern accent because otherwise it doesn't come out right. Like I feel like if I y'all, like it's there's a place called Youghal in Ireland. Um, basically pronouncing it like that. Y'all, yow, yowie. I am from Ireland, Cot said. I am from Ireland. When are the lads going to get together? I don't know. I've spoken to a few of them before, but you heard that? You heard what? What did you hear? Um, but I was gonna say sometimes like there's artists who are yeah. Sometimes there's artists who are really really good at their style at designing VTubers, but their stuff can look very similar. You know, it has different hair colors, different. But obviously, I mean, that's obviously an art style. You're always going to carry some similarity. McGregor lives with us. Not me. He doesn't live with me. He's a little bit of a cokehead. He probably I've dealt with a very, you know, mentally unstable professional rugby player cokehead before. One night it was very funny and also kind of terrifying. I was worried he was going to punch me at any moment. So I don't know if I'd like to deal with that. He lives with us. Sorry. I see what you mean now. I see what you mean. And I'm not a boy. Was that the Australian? That was the Australian. The Australian who played for Scotland. You remember when I told that story? Yeah, that was an interesting one. When I actually just got choked when he was telling me a story, and he was like, I should have grabbed them by the fucking neck, and then he grabbed my neck and gave it a little bit of a squeeze, and I just kind of laughed. I was kind of just like, ha 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 ha, yeah, oh yeah, that's so cool. Please let go of my neck. It was a little bit more like, you know, it was a little bit more like I was pretending to be into the story, because I was also kind of drunk, but yeah, it was kind of a oh shit kind of moment, like please don't kill me kind of moment. This guy was sinewy. He was big and strong from professional rugby, but like he'd obviously lost some of his size, but you could still see, like, you know, the sinew of his muscles. Anyway, let's get back to Lou trying to get into Tara and literally like just being told no. You must have skill to enter into Tara. Okay, here's every skill. It's like no. This guy would make a great bouncer, wouldn't he? This guy would make a great bouncer. Hello, Bazinga. Oh, you already thought you were in prison for an attempt on your homosexuality. They don't lock me up for those things. Do you know how to use a translator? I do know how to. I type in the word translator into Google and I put in the letters. Well, I copy and paste. But the thing is that it's a little bit awkward to do on stream every time. But I will do it this time because you asked. But it's not easy. It's not easy to do consistently, because it does kind of slow down the stream, if you understand. Okay, that's really sweet. That's very sweet, Kotsid. Thank you. He said, well, I assume Google Translate is translating it as as you are amazing, but maybe Google Translate's trying to be nice. But that's very sweet. Thank you. But let's get back to Lou trying to get into Tara. Then Lou said, "Go and ask the king if he has any one man that can do all these things, and if he has, I will not ask to come into Tara." The doorkeeper went into the king's house then, and he told him all that. "There's a young man at the door," he said, "and his name should be Ildonach, the master of all arts. For all the things the people of your house can do, he himself is able to do every one of them." "Try him with the chessboard," said Nuada. So the chessboards were brought out, and every game that was played, Lou won it. And when Nuada was told that, he said, "Let him in, for the like of him never came into Tara before." He should be very, very careful, Lou. He should be very careful not to show off any sort of physician skills, because Dean Kecht will drive a fucking axe through his head the first chance he gets. How dare someone even think about, putting a bandage on a wound? Imagine, Dean Kecht is, walking down the street, and there's a mother, her child is running down, and he falls. He's like, "Oh no, poor little baby," and the mother picks him up and gives him a kiss on the knee. Is like, "Is that better?" And then Dean Kecht runs over and just decks her. "No healing around me. Don't you try and usurp my spot." He's really just suspicious. Is that a med kit near me? He breaks he breaks into pharmacies and hospitals and steals all of the medical equipment. No one's allowed to be healed if it's not by him. He made some friends with the bagmen, and they gave him their they gave him their bags. Oh my god, you guys are talking in Russian. Neat. Then the doorkeeper let him pass, and he came into the king's house and sat down in the seat of knowledge. And there was a great flagstone there that could hardly be moved by 4 times 20 yoke of oxen. And Ogma took it up and hurled it out through the house, so that it lay on the outside of Tara, as a challenge to Lou. But Lou hurled it back again, that it lay in the middle of the king's house. He played the harp for them then, and he had them laughing and crying, till he put them to sleep at the end with a sleepy tune. And when Nuada saw all the things Lou could do, he began to think that by his help the country might get free of the taxes and the tyranny put on it by the Famor. And so it is what he did. He came down from his throne, and he put Lou on it in his place, for the length of 13 days, the way they might all listen to the advice he would give. I think here again we're seeing very much a sharp contrast between, a good king, that of Nuada, who is not just a good king in a general, someone got spammed. Good job, Sari. Not just, I hope that wasn't, I felt like when I looked at that, there was some Russian in there. I hope that wasn't a Russian person, and the bot was just like, no. I don't think so, though. It was some strange letters. I see. Probably just some weird font trying to get past Sari, but nothing gets past Sari. But again, so we're seeing the contrast between a good king, that of Nuada, and Bress. Bress ultimately had to be pulled down from his throne, while Nuada happily gives it up when he sees a person more suited for the throne than he. This now is a story of the birth of Lou. The time the Fomor used to be coming to Ireland, Balor of the Strong Blows, or as some called him, of the Evil Eye, was living on the island of the Tower of Glass. There was danger for ships that went near that island, for the Fomor would come out and take them, and some say the sons of Nemid in the old time, before the Firbolgs were in Ireland, passed near it in their ships, and what they saw was a tower of glass in the middle of the sea, and on the tower was something that had the appearance of men, and they went against it with druid spells to attack it, and the Fomor worked against them with druid spells of their own, and the sons of Nemid attacked the tower, and it vanished, and they thought it was destroyed. But a great wave rose over them, and all their ships went down, and all that were in them. And the tower was there as it was before, and Balor living in it, and is the reason he was called of the Evil Eye. And there was a power of death in one of his eyes, so that no person could look at it and live. It is the way it got that power. He was passing one time by a house where his father's druids were making spells of death, and the window being open he looked in, and the smoke of the poisonous spells was rising up, and it went into his eye, and from that time he had to keep it closed, unless he wanted to be the death of some enemy, and then the men that were with him would lift the eyelid with a ring of ivory. Do you read story? I am reading a story. I'm reading mythical stories. Nua? Wait. No, I think you mean... Yeah, no. I think I know who you're talking about. Nua, the Irish Cincinnatus. Oh, hang on. There we go. Sniffer, sniffer. Where am I? Oh, yes. Now a druid foretold one time that it was by his own grandson he would get his death, and he had at that time but one child, a daughter whose name was Ethlin. And when he heard what the druid said, he shut her up in the tower on the island, and he put 12 women with her to take charge of her and to guard her, and he bade them never to let her see a man or hear the name of a man. So Ethlin was brought up in the tower, and she grew to be very beautiful, and sometimes she would see men passing in the currachs, and sometimes she would see a man in her dreams, but when she would speak of that to the women, they would give her no answer. So there was no fear on Balor, and he went on with war and robbery as he was used to, seizing every ship that passed by, and sometimes going over Ireland to do destruction there. Now it chanced at that time there were 3 brothers of the Tuatha Dé living together in a place that was called Druim na Taen, the Ridge of the Fire. Gobnew, Samhain, and Cian. Cian was the lord of the land, and Gobnew was the smith that had such a great name. Now Cian had a wonderful cow, the Glas Glavin, or the Glas Gavin, and her milk never failed. And every one that heard of her coveted her, and many had tried to steal her away, so that she had to be watched every night and day. And one time Cian was wanting some swords made, and he went to Gobnew's forge, and he brought the Glas Gavin with him, holding her by the halter. When he came to the forge, his 2 brothers were there together, for Samhain had brought some steel to have weapons made for himself, and Cian bade Samhain to hold the halter while he went to the forge to speak with Gobnew. Glas Goblet. I just imagine she would think she was schizophrenic when she talked about seeing a man and they wouldn't answer. No, it's mean. To be fair, she's locked in a tower all her life. That it's fair that she would become kinda, schizo. Thank you, Pink Alia. Thank you very much for the follow. Very kind of you. Now Balor had set in his mind for a long time on the Glas Glavin, on the Glas Governor, but he had never been able to get near her up to that time, and he was watching not far off, and when he saw Sothan holding the cow, he put on the appearance of a little boy, having red hair, and coming up to him, and told him he heard his two brothers that were in the forge saying to one another that they would use all his steel for their own swords, and make his by iron. By my word, said Sothan, they will not deceive me so easy. Let you hold the cow, little lad, he said. I will go into them. Thank you, I love OG Minecraft 24. What's the story? The story, Cotsid, is Irish myths and legends, gods and fighting men. Lady Augusta Gregory. You love OG Minecraft too? That's a very cute name. And this one specifically is on the coming of Lugh and Lugh's reign. Let you hold a cow, little lad, he said, and I will go into them. And no sooner did Balor get the halter in his hand than he set out, dragging the Glas along with him, to the strand and across the sea to his own island. This voice is about to send you into a world of dreams. I'm happy to hear that, Bazinga. I hope you have a lovely, deep sleep and you get nice and cozy. You lied. You like modded Minecraft. Oh, you like Minecraft modded to hell and back. Going to hell and back. Dude, I should do some Sabaton songs sometime. Do you guys remember when Gura did Sabaton? That was really cool. She should do some Powerwolf too. Powerwolf have some great songs for when you're working out. Would kill you. They would 100% destroy my voice. Gura did Sabaton. Yeah. I think she did The Last Stand and a couple of others. But she was Red Gura at that time. She was evil Gura. When he drives you and the boys based. And you always expect him to crash us. Maybe not based. I worry that when that happens he drives really fast and it's kind of dangerous. I'd be a little bit concerned on that one. Do be safe. Is this a story about Beltane or St. Bridget? It's not about St. Bridget. That's a little bit too early for this. This is specifically about the Tuatha Dé, the god people who lived in Ireland before the Gale, before the humans arrived. Before the Irish arrived, I should say. Arrived. Excuse me. When Cian saw his brother coming in, he rushed out, and there he saw Balor and the Glas out in the sea, and he had nothing to do then but to reproach his brother, and to wander about as if his wits had left him, not knowing what way to get his cow back from Balor. At last he went to a druid to ask an advice from him, and it is what the druid told him, that so long as Balor lived, the cow would never be brought back, for no one would go within reach of his evil eye. Cian went then to a woman druid, Birog of the Mountain, for her help, and she dressed him in a woman's clothes, and brought him across the sea in a blast of wind, to the tower where Ethlin was. Then she called to the women in the tower, and asked them for shelter for a high queen she was after saving from some hardship, and the women in the tower did not like to refuse a woman of the Tuatha Dé, and they let her and her comrade in. Then Birog, by her enchantments, put them all to sleep into a deep sleep. And Cian went to speak with Ethlin, and when she saw him, she said, that was the face she had seen in her dreams. So she gave him her love, but after a while he was brought away again by a blast of wind. He found the SpongeBob bag of wind item. Why are you red hair? Because God put fire in the hair of the Gales? Hell yeah, Mike, exactly. And when her time came, Etlin gave birth to a son, and when Balor knew that, he bade his people to put the child in a cloth and fasten it with a pin and throw him into a current on the sea. And as they were carrying the child across an arm of the sea, the pin dropped out, and the child slipped from the cloth into the water, and they thought he was drowned. But he was brought away by Birog of the mountain, and she brought him to his father Cian, and he gave him to be fostered by Tailta, daughter of the king of the great plain. It is thus Lu was born and reared. And some say Balor came and struck the head of Cian on a white stone that has the blood marks on it to this day, but it is likely it was some other man he struck out the head off of, for it was by the sons of Tyrion that Cian came to his death. I like little parts of that where they're like, and some say this, but I think this. Balod, he may mean Balor, maybe? And after Lu had come to Tara, he made his mind up to join the people of his fathers against the Fomor. He put his mind to the work, and he went to the quiet place in Grelach Dullad, and went with Nuada and the Dogda, and with Ogma and Gobnu and Dean Kicht were called to them there. A full year they stopped there, making their plans together in secret. The way the Fomor would not know they were going to rise against them till such time as all would be ready, until they would know what their strength was. And it was from that council the place got the name afterwards of the Whisper of the Men of the Dea. The god of benevolence? I don't think that's Balor. And they broke up the council, and agreed to meet again that day 3 years, and every one of them went on their way. And Lu went back to his old friends, the sons of Manannán. And it was a good while after that, Nuada was holding a great assembly of the people on the hill of Usnok, on the west side of Tara, and they were not long before they saw an armed troop coming towards them from the east, over the plain, and there was a young man in front of the troop, in command over the rest, and the brightness of his face was like the setting sun, so that they were not able to look at him because of the brightness. Excuse me. And when they came nearer, they knew it was Lu Lawfada of the Long Hand, and that had come back to them. Along with him were the riders of the Sheed, from the land of promise, and his own foster brothers, the sons of Manannán. Oh God. What? Now that's a name. Sgoith. Hang on, that has to be in the pronunciations. Take a quick look. It's not. How do you expect me to pronounce this one? Shkiha Glegale, the white flower, and Gotne Gurum Shulach, the blue-eyed spear, and Shina Shirnderg of the red ring, and Donali Donrua of the red-brown hair. And it was the way Lu was. He had Manannán's horse, the Aenvar of the One Mane, under him, that was as swift as a naked cold wind of spring, and the sea was the same as dry land to her, and the rider was never killed off her back. And he had Manannán's breastplate on him, that kept whoever was wearing it from wounds, and a helmet on his head with 2 beautiful precious stones set in the front of it, and one at the back. And when he took it off, his forehead was like the sun on a dry summer day, and he had Manannán's sword, the Firgotok. Let me make sure I'm reading this right. The Frigarthok. The Answerer at his side. The Answerer, what a name. And no one that was wounded by it would ever get away alive. And when that sword was bared in battle, no man that saw it coming against him had any more strength than a woman in childbirth. You said Balod, god of benevolence. You're finding nothing on Google? Scandinavian Greek? Never heard of this. maybe using Google Translate. That's true. That's true. It could be that may not be the correct translation. The answer, Answer this, puts a mad equation in. He's gonna, the wearer of the answer, the wielder, is just gonna cut your paper in half. Or he's just gonna go, 2, and then stabs you. And the troop came to where the King of Ireland was with the Tuatha Dé, and they welcomed one another. And they were not long there till they saw a surely, slovenly troop coming towards them, 9 times 9 of the messengers of the Fomor. They were coming to ask rent and taxes from the men of Ireland, and the names of the 4 that were the hardest and the most cruel were Éanna and Éadfig, and Coran and Compar. And they were said, and there was such great dread of these 4 that on the Tuatha Dé, that not one of them would be so much as punish his own son or his foster son without leave from them. I don't know, man. Stabs you. Taxes? No, the tax man. They came up then to where the King of Ireland was with the riders of the Sheath, and the king and all of the Tuatha Dé stood up before them, and Lugh of the long hand said, "Why do you rise up before that surely slovenly troop, when you did not rise up before us?" "It is needful for us to do it," said the king, "for if there was but a child of us sitting before them, they would not think that too small a cause for killing them." "By my word," said Lugh, "there was a great desire coming in me to kill them." "That is a thing that would bring harm to us," said the king, "for we would meet our own death and destruction to it. Through it. It is too long a time you have been under this oppression," said Lugh, and with that he started up and made an attack on the Fomor, killing and wounding them, till he had made an end of 8 nines of them. But he let the last 9 go under the protection of Nuada the king, and I would kill you along with the others, he said, but I would sooner see you go with messengers to your own country than my own people, for fear they might get any ill treatment. So the 9 went back then, till they came to Loch Lawn, where the men of the Fomor were, and they told them the story from beginning to end, and how a young, well-featured lad had came into Ireland and had killed all the tax-gatherers but themselves, and it is the reason he let us off. They said, that we might tell you the story ourselves. "Hey, Ruadh, how are you doing today?" "Hello, John Madden. Not Madden. I always made that same mistake. Oh, wait. There we go, I'm moving again. I apologize. I stopped moving for a little bit. I hope you're having a good week. We're almost there. We're almost at the weekend. You're going to do it. Don't get your name wrong again. No, I know it's Madma. I promise. "Do you know who is the young man?" said Balor of the Evil Eye. No, wait, that's not the voice Balor would have. "Do you know who is the young man?" said Balor of the Evil Eye. "I know well," said Catelyn, his wife. "He is the son of your daughter and mine, and it was foretold," she said, "that from the time he would come into Ireland, we would never have power there again forever." Then the chief men of the Fomor went into council, Abe, son of Nead, and Shanchub, grandson of Nead, and Setai Salvor. There's a lot of weird names in here, spellings that I've never seen even in Irish. And Leah, son of Lobus, and the 9 poets of the Fomor that had learning and gift of foreknowledge, and Lobius the Druid, and the Balor himself, and his 12 white-mounted sons, and Catelyn of the crooked teeth, his queen. That's a mean name. And it was just at that time Bress and his father, Elathan, were come to ask help of the Fomor. And Bress said, I myself will go to Ireland, and 7 great battalions of the riders of the Famor along with me, and I will give battle to this Ildánach, this master of all arts, and I will strike his head and bring it here to you, to the green of Beerva. It would be a fitting thing, for you to do, said they all. Let my ships be made ready for me, said Bress, and let food and provisions be put in them. So they made no delay, but went and got the ships ready, and they put plenty of food and drink in them. And the 2 swift luas, were sent out to gather the army to Bress. And when they were all gathered, they made their armour and their weapons ready, and they set out for Ireland. And Balor the king followed them to the harbour and said, Give battle to the Ildánach, and strike off his head, and tie that island that is called Ireland to the back of your ships, and let the destroying water take its place, and put it on the north side of Loch Lon, and not one of the men of Dea would follow it there to the end of life and time. Then they pushed out their ships and put up their painted sails and went out from the harbour of the untilled country, on the ridges of the wide-lying sea, and they never turned from their course till they came to the harbour of Eastara, and from that they sent out an army through West Connacht, and destroyed it altogether, through and through. And the king of Connacht at that time was Bovderg, son of the Dagda. Is that bread with pigtails? It's a braid. It's not a pigtail, it's a braid. And yes, that's Brua. That's little Brua down there. He's a cute little guy. He's just getting toasty by the fire. Ooh, that was I like how that wrapped around to tie in the story of Bress. That was some nice storytelling right there, I have to say. That was how long was that? That was okay, that was a good over like 14, 15 pages, I think. The next story is quite long. It's the Sons of Tiryn. Then we have the Great Battle of Magtura, and the Hidden House of Lu then after that. I'm wondering, do I leave the full story of the Sons of Tiryn? You know what? No, I think we continue for a little bit, because I have maybe another 25 minutes or so. Because then we'll hit our kind of 2-hour mark. The Sons of Tiryn. Of Turin. And Lu of the Long Hand was at that time at Tara with the King of Ireland. Rua's streams are way too short. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry. Sleep time for you, you're afraid? Well, thank you so much for lurking. Laughs a lot. It's always nice to see you. I'm pretty sure I said hello to you at the start of the stream. Thank you for the stream. How many pages are left? Ooh, Katsu, this is a really long book. I'm on page 22, and there are like 400 pages. You did excellent. Thank you for joining. Slaw and live. Thank you. Nine. Yeah, Nini. Thick ass book. It's a pretty hefty book, I have to say. The text isn't like super small though in comparison, so we kind of get through it a little bit quicker than the other books, which were larger books and had smaller text. So we're getting through it a little bit quicker. But you know, this might be a book that we might read part 1 of, and then we'll leave it for a little bit, and then we'll come back and we'll do part 2. You thought 210 or 230? Yeah, it's a thick book. You're imagining small text, 900 pages like Game of Thrones. I could see it's about the size of a Game of Thrones book. No, actually, it's a little bit thinner because it's a hardback. Hang on. Doesn't that sound good? Wait, hang on. I'm sorry if you're like, who's knocking at my door? You redeem on paper. Okay, if I had my actual 3DO, that would be a lot more clearer. But let's get into the story a little bit. We might try and get a few pages in. But I do apologize how short my streams are. It's really just the timing of things. Typically from what, 7 till like 5 I'm working, or even 6 some days. Then I have other stuff on, like singing, or I go to the gym, and then I'm studying, and then sometimes I just want to be on my own. I just want to relax. So by 7 to 5, well, what I mean by 7 to 5 is, 7 is when I get up, and then I'm usually working by about 8, and oftentimes I'm working through lunch, so I'm getting maybe 20 minutes for lunch. I'm just in a it's a little bit better right now. It's a little bit better right now because I finished something that we were working very hard on, so I'm quite happy about that. It's just a case of me being very busy, and the type of stuff that I do requires a lot of overtime. Thank you, Nora. See, that's why I like Faceholes, because it allows me to rest my EP head in someone's hands for a little while. And it allows me to relax. You're not doing crunch time, are you, Ruadh? No. I haven't had to do like crazy hours, but you have your typical 40-hour week. Typically mine's like 50 plus 55 for the last couple of weeks, which again isn't crazy. I know in America, like, people live to work in America. It's very strange. People will like be proud of working 70 plus hours. It's like, why? I do know people that I'm with who are working those type of hours because they're so busy. I've been lucky to be quite decent at what I do, and the jobs I've been on are very nice, and just being effective, Hello, Kate Mila Falta. Hello, Enki. Welcome in. I don't know how to pronounce you better be resting well. Yeah. Yeah, I get to sleep. I sleep for a number of hours. I sleep for a number of hours, totally. Yep. Hello, Enki. It's nice to meet you. Thank you so much for the first time chat. Dia Gwit. Allo. Whenever I see like allo, I always think of like a German or like a Dutch person saying it, or maybe like a Swedish person. Like, I think of like allo, like something like that, like a deep voiced allo. You guys can hear I'm a little bit sniffy. I've been doing a lot of walking. You think of a French person first. Hello. No, to me that's more of an hello, not an allo. Allo. That, to me, a French person would be, hello, you pig dog. Ruadh, you're gonna poke me? Well, at least you warned me. That is appreciated. Okay. Get it over with. Hello. That's just Haru saying hello. That's just Haru and her friends. Hello. Their funny way of typing. Hello, Moto. Gay people saying hello. Hello? Is that how they say? I thought there was the gay voice, the lisp. Which is a thing. I've seen that happen. I'm not trying to be mean. I've seen someone come out and then like a month later they were talking like that, and I wanted to hit them. I was like, shut up. You do not talk like this. Stop it. You thought that was the was that James, like James Charles? You're saying if you don't rest, you'll poke me? Oh, I see. But if you poke me, then I'm not going to be able to rest. A lisp? Yeah, like the The lisp. The lisp. Gensuki has a little bit. Gensuki has not a lisp, but a very soft and sweet voice. Ooh, Gensuki. Sorry. But yeah, yeah, it was interesting watching it actually develop in real time. I was like, what the fuck? There are people that just, it's just kind of like the, well, what would you call it? Like the fabulous way of talking, I guess. But it was funny to see. Let's get back to our reading though, because we might be able to get a decent chunk into the Sons of Turin. You did not develop this list when you started liking men. I see, Mike. You start liking it, you just instantly. Excuse me. I will have to be a little bit quiet. I was just asked to be so. So you guys are gonna get very, very soft talking Ruadh for a little while. I'm sorry. Maybe you guys like soft talking Ruadh. I don't know. Hydrate boy. Don't call me boy. But I'm gonna hydrate. But not because you told me to, and not because you call me boy. Water boy, water boy. No, I'm not a water boy. I was never a water boy. I played and there was a water boy. Actually, there wasn't. The coach would usually carry on the bottle, the thing of water. Although sometimes I'd be so thirsty at like a break during like a rugby game, I would run to the touchline to get the water first. Oh, that was the worst feeling at the near the end of a game where you're all dying. Drown check in honor of Haru. Thank you, Gusto. When you're dying at the end of a game and you get the bottle of water and they're all empty and you're like, oh no, this isn't good. Let me take another quick sip for the drown check. Oh god, am I been loud? No, what am I talking about? This isn't the Treadio. That sucks. It's painful. It's painful to experience because you're just like, oh, you're just so looking forward to it, and then you put it up to your mouth and you squeeze the bottle of water and you just hear the shh of the air. Now, let's get into it. And Lew of the Long Hand was at that time at Tara with the King of Ireland, and it was showed to him that the Fomor were after landing at Eastara, and when he knew that, he made ready after landing. He made ready Manannán's horse, the Aon Bar, at the time of the battle of the day and night, and he went where Nuada the king was, and told him how the Fomor had landed at Eastara and had spoiled Bovdurg's country. And it is what I want, he said, to get help from you to give battle to them. But Nuada was not minded to avenge the destruction that was done on Bovdurg, and not on himself. And Lew was not well pleased with his answer, and he went riding out of Tara westward, and presently he saw 3 armed men coming towards him, his own father Cian, and his brothers Cu and Kehen. That were the 3 sons of Cianta, and they saluted him. What is the cause of your early rising? They said. It is good cause I have for it, said Lew, for the Fomor are come into Ireland and have robbed Bovdurg, and what help will you give me against them? He said. Each one of us will keep off 100 from you in battle, they said. That is good help, said Lew, but there is a help I would sooner have from you than that, to gather the riders of the Sheed to me from every place where they are. So Cu and Ken went towards the south, and Cian set out northward, and he did not stop till he reached the plain of Mirthmana. I'm not too sure on that pronunciation. And he also was going across the plain, he saw 3 armed men before him. That were the 3 sons of Tirin, son of Ogma. And it is the way it was between the 3 sons of Tirin and the 3 sons of Cienta. They were in hatred and enmity towards one another, so that whenever they met, there was sure to be fighting among them. Then Cian said, "If my 2 brothers had been here, it is a brave fight we would make, but since they are not, it is best for me to fall back." Then he saw a great herd of pigs near him, and he struck himself with a druid rod that put him into the shape of a pig of the herd, and he began rooting up the ground like the rest. Dude, if I had the power to become a pig, I would totally root up the ground. I'd just go everywhere. I'd go snorting, and I'd go sniffing out the truffles. Then Brian, one of the sons of Tirin, said to his brothers, "Did you see that?" You'd blow bubbles in the water throw, in like that one gif. I don't know what one you're talking about, but I'm gonna have to look it up. It sounds cute. I thought for a second he was gonna be like, "Did you see that armed guy walk into that herd of pigs and become a pig?" And like they just all look at each other. Like, what the hell? But no. Did you see that armed man that was walking the plain a while ago? "We did see him," said they. "Do you know what it was? It took him away," said Brian. "We do not know that," said they. "It is a pity you are not keeping a better watch over the plains of the open country in time of war," said Brian. "And I know well what happened for him, for he struck himself with his druid rod into the shape of a pig of these pigs." They did see. "And he's rooting up the ground now, like any one of them. And whoever he is no friend to us." "That is bad for us," said the other 2. "For the pigs belong to some one of the Tuatha, and even if we kill them all, the druid pig might chance to escape us in the end." You'll put it in the Discord, General. Thank you, Mike. You would probably sleep. Yeah, be a comfy little pig. "It is badly you got your learning in the City of Learning," said Brian, "when you cannot tell an enchanted beast from a natural beast." And while he was saying that, he struck his 2 brothers with his druid rod, and he turned them into 2 thin, fast hounds, and they began to yelp sharply at the track of the enchanted pig. And it was not long before the pig fell out from among the others, and not one of the others made way, but only itself, and it made for a wood. And at the edge of the wood, Brian gave a cast of his spear that went through its body, and the pig cried out, and it said, "It is a bad thing you have done to have made a cast at me, when you knew me." "It seems to me you have the talk of a man," said Brian. "I was a man indeed," said he. "I am Cian, son of Gretna, and give me your protection now." "I swear by the gods of the air," said Brian, that if the life came back 7 times to you, I would take it from you every time." "If that is so," said Cian, "give me one request. Let me go into my shape again." "We will do that," said Brian, for it is easier to me to kill a man than a pig." "Thank you, Fox. Thank you for the face hold." No, wait. She's shaking me. She just started shaking my head. "Hello, Fox. I hope you're doing well. It's nice to see you." So Cian took his own shape then, and he said, "Aggressive face hold, yeah. Grab me and shake me." So Cian took his own shape then, and he said, "Give me mercy now." "We will not give it," said Brian. "Well, I have got the better of you for all that," said Cian. "For if it was in the shape of a pig you had killed me, there would only be the blood money for a pig on me. But as it is in my own shape, you kill me. There never was, and never will be any person killed, for whose sake a heavier fine will be paid than for myself, and the arms I am killed with, he said. It is they will tell the deed to my son. It is not with weapons you will be killed, with the stones lying on the ground, said Brian, and with that they pelted him with stones, fiercely and roughly, till all that was left of him was a poor, miserable, broken heap, and they buried him in the depths of a man's body in the earth, and the earth would not receive that murder from them, but cast it up again. Brian said it should go into the earth again, and they put it in a second time, and the second time the earth would not take it, and 6 times the sons of Turin buried the body, and 6 times it was cast up again. And then they went on to join Lugh of the Long Hand for the battle. Now as to Lugh, upon parting with his father, he went forward from Tara westward to the hills that were called Garrick and Ilgirk, to the ford of the Shannon that is now called Alfluin, and Birna na Dargana, the gap of separation, and over Maglurig, the plain of following, and to Cor Sleeve na Segasa, the round mountain of the Poet's Spring, and to the head of Sean Sleeve, and through the place of the bright-faced Corin, and from there to Magmore on Aina, the great plain of the fair, where the Famor were, and the spoils of Connacht with them. No, don't grab me and shake me. It is then Bress, son of Elathan, rose up and said, It is a wonder to me that the sun to be rising to the west today, and it is rising in the east every other day. It would be better for us, it would be better for us it to be the sun, said the Druids. What else is it? He said. It is the shining of the face of Lugh, son of Ethlin, they said they. Lugh came up and saluted them. Why do you come like a friend to us? Said they. There is good cause for that, he said, for there is but 1/2 of me of the Tuatha Dé, and the other half of yourselves, and give me back now the milch cows of the men of Ireland, he said. May early good luck not come to you till you get either a dry or a milch cow here, said a man of them, and anger on him. You love how some people call Lugh the Irish sun god, but I'm just like, nah, he's just a Bishy. Bishy? Oh, Bishonen, yeah. Yeah. He's just an Ekiman. He's just, yeah. I was wondering for a second if that's what you mean. He's just a very, very handsome boy. But Lugh stopped near them for 3 days and 3 nights. And at the end of that time the riders of the Sheath came to him, and Bovderg, son of the Dogga, came with 2,900 men. And he said, What is... Wait, no, hang on, this is the Dogda. That has to be a good voice too. What is the cause? What is the cause of delay in giving battle? Waiting for you I was, said Lugh. Then the kings and chief men of Ireland. Big Red needs to be stoic. Oh, yes, sorry, that was Bovderg, not Dogda. I misread that. What is the cause of your delay in giving battle? Waiting for you I was, said Lugh. Then the kings and chief men of Ireland took their armour on them, and they raised the point of their spears over their heads, and they made close fences of their shields, and they attacked their enemies on Magmore on Aina, and their enemies answered them, and they threw their whining spears at one another, and when their spears were broken they drew their swords from their blue-bordered sheaths, and began to strike at one another, and tickets of brown flame rose above them from the bitterness of their many-edged weapons. That's a great description. And Lu saw the battle pen where Bress, son of Elathan, was, and he made a fierce attack on him, and on the men that were guarding him, till he had made an end of 200 of them. When Bress saw that, he gave himself up to Lu's protection. Dude, he's straight up like, nah, fuck this, I don't want to fight this guy, I give up, I give up, give me your protection. Give me my life this time, he said, and I will bring the whole race of the Fomor to fight it out with you in a great battle, and I bind myself to that. By the sun and the moon, the sea and the land, he said. On that, Lu gave him his life. And then the druids that were with him asked his protection for themselves. By my work, he said, if the whole race of the Fomor went under my protection, they would not be destroyed by me. So then Bress and the druids set out for their own country. I yield, I yield. He starts Oblivion NPC fleeing. No, Lu comes up and like he's fighting all his guys and he hits him once and he goes down into the Skyrim essential kneeling position. And he's like, I yield, you have bested me this day. And Lu's like, oh, okay. He's like, okay, well, I'm going to need you to bring all of the Fomor out here for a great big battle. And then he stands up and he's like, never should have come here. And then he does a spin move. Lu's just like, what the fuck? Then he kicks him. He falls down again. He stands up. Need something? After this, Lu is definitely going to get like after killing 200 people, he's definitely going to get an adoring fan though. That's a pretty crazy move. Oh. I only have 10% of battery left. Hang on. Where's my charger? Hang on. I have to find my charger. Ugh. I found it. Ugh. Anyway, sorry, I'm here. Can I shine your shoes? Back rub, perhaps? I'm going to worship the ground you walk on. It's you! You're the grand champion! I'm going to follow you and worship you. No, I can't remember what that line is. And sing your praises. I don't know, something like that. He has such a great voice. It's you! You're the grand champion! How many subs to do an Oblivion NPC stream? I would not do well. I'm not like Haru Mizuki who can do like third person. I know Daya has he used to have an NPC redeem. I don't know if he still has it. But he would literally just be like, ice cream so good. I love ice cream. Oh, I'm not even being that. Thank you for the... Okay. The glizzy redeem. The only reason I know what glizzies are is because of... I vote for you to make an NPC redeem. Okay, I'll figure out... Maybe I should make an adoring fan redeem where I have to treat you, the person who redeems it, as the grand champion. Yes, a holy... Please, yes, yes. Good morning, D. Hello, hello. I have to be quiet. I have to be quiet. How are you, D? How's my favorite angel girl doing? Thank you for the roses. I'll look up some NPC, like Oblivion and Skyrim stuff. I'll do that, and I'll try and think of some good ones. I think, I actually think that might be a good place to leave our reading today. The victory of The victory of Lou over Bress the first time. Oh no. Hey, you're finally awake. You were trying to cross the border into Skyrim. Got caught in that Imperial ambush. I should do that with all my friends. Now you want to play Skyrim, dude. I get that feeling every now and again. They really did not paint a good light on the Imperials, did they? No. I can't be loud, but a new hand touches the beacon. She fucking screams in your ear. Why is the audio mixing on that? Like, out of every single... I actually can't, D. I'm sorry. I would 100% do it normally, but I have to be quiet. Dude, why? Like, you would scream at every other, they're loud and imposing, but she's like screaming in my ear for no reason. There is no reason for that. Isn't that... Wait, which one's that again? Is that, that's not Boethia, no. She's screaming that in your ear, and you just throw the mirror. Sorry, yes, it's Mirrodin's Beacon. That's it, Mirrodin's Beacon. Meridia's beacon. You just throw the beacon away. It's like Bluetooth has disconnected. Then every now and again you walk past and you just hear like Bluetooth has connected, and she just screams in you again. Dragon roar, but a whisper compared to Merida. You love that sword. I use that sword a lot. I'm not gonna lie. When I play, that often becomes one of my like main weapons for a long time in the game. It's a really solid weapon. Who's the one that gives you the spell shield? The shield that causes a... There's so much... Dude, there is no reason. You go into that. You complete that dungeon. You complete that dungeon. Hello, sassy lore. Periite. Spellbreaker. Yeah, actually, that's true. You go in there. You come out a rich man. You come out like enough to buy like Breeze Home or something. I always did the glitch that if you bought a house, but you click confirm to like spend all the money, you exit out of the conversation as they're talking. You open up a wardrobe or a chest or some container. You can put all of your gold into the container. You will still get the house, and then you can take your gold back, and you will spend not a dime. I was a little bit of a cheeser. And then I would fill up my houses with books. I had to collect every single book. I had to collect every single book. That was such a good one. Yeah, it was a sneaky little thing. You cheapskate. Money is so easy to get in the game. Yeah, but I want more money. I want more money all the time. All the time. More. If you do that in real life, would that work? Yeah. I don't think so. But I think the way you could do it is you somehow manage to convince a bank to give you really big overdrafts and loans, and then you leave the house, you leave your life, and you just take that money and run. But that might be a little bit tricky to do. That's called fraud. What's life without a little bit of fraud? In your eyes, it's not. In my law, in my country, it's not. My country of one. But anyway, guys, I'm going to head off. I'm sorry, at Vox, you guys only joined kind of near the end, but it was nice to see you guys. I hope you have a nice Friday, because I know it's Friday for you. Okay, sexy anime man, you will commit fraud. Hell yeah. And give me the money. Do fraud, but give it to me. No, Twitch. Don't take that seriously. Thank you for the stream. Thank you for coming, D. I'm going to try and catch your stuff more often. Who who's around right now? Who's around and what are they doing? No, I've raided Haru a good few times recently, I feel like. I know, Wolf was streaming. I saw him streaming earlier, Fox, but I was busy at the time and I couldn't join. It was quite sad. Maybe I'll watch his stream later and go eepies. Hope everyone has good, happy time zones. I'm gonna go to eep soon. There's Runoxy, but is that pregnant art? Okay. I don't think it's pregnant art, but it looks like it from afar. Let me... I'm trying to find someone who's doing ASMR. The only people who are doing ASMR are like really, really big channels. And it's scary. And also fleshies, but I don't raid into them. They're spooky. You know who we'll raid into? Just because we're kind of doing, we're definitely doing kind of a soft ASMR, so I think it would be good to stick with that. We'll raid into Fishtails, and we will say congratulations to Fishtails. Or not Fishtails. I looked at Fleshies and I looked at Wishtails in quick succession. I don't think he has a fishtail. But we'll run over to Wishtails and we'll wish him congratulations. Yeah, not Fishtails. Because I believe he recently, if I saw that correctly, hit partner. Or maybe I'm pretty sure he did. I don't see the tick mark, but he might need to be waiting for it. Let me double check that. No, he was invited to the Twitch partner program. Yep, I remember that. It was very recent too. It was like yesterday. So he has. So we're going to raid him, and we're just gonna say, congrats on partner or something. I don't know. You guys can do your own thing. I'm probably gonna have to raid and run because I'm actually quite tired all of a sudden. But thank you guys so much for joining me. Apologies, I had to get very quiet for a little while near the end. But Gareb Mila Mahagut and Slán Gafol, and I will talk to you guys next stream. Bye bye.